Hi, I'm Patricia and welcome to my creative space. Today we're going to create a watercolor pendant and a pair of earrings, and these are the watercolors I'm going to be using, and I got them at Walmart for around $5 I believe. And today I'll be working on a tile on top of my tiny Pandora glass mat. I've got a piece of clay here rolled out on a setting 2. And today what I'm working with is a mix of Primo White and Primo Pearl. So just making sure that I have all my air bubbles out of the clay. I didn't like the way that looked, so we'll try again. Now that I got all the air bubbles worked out of the clay, I'm going to use my cutter. And I am using cutters from ohjoycreationsinc.com. Use my acrylic block to cut it. I'll wiggle it about a little bit, get that cut going a little bit better. And just pull it up. Now I'm just going to use my X-Acto knife here to take out the centerpiece. I'll set that aside. And here's the number of the cutters that I am using, 38A. Okay, and now I'll grab the earring cutter and I will make my earring cuts as well. And I'm pretty much doing them the same way I did the pendant. Grab my acrylic block, press down, give it a little twist, put my hand on there and give it a more of a twist, and pull up. Tap back down anything that raised up. Grab my X-Acto knife and take out that centerpiece. And I will make the other one just like it. Okay, and now I will pull the clay out around these. And then I will pop these in the oven at 275 for 1 hour. And I'm going to protect with paper, and I'm going to put a couple of tiles on top to help them remain flat. Okay, they are done and out of the oven, and now I'm going to take out my mega blade and I'm going to pop them off the tiles and bring them over to finish cooling down. Okay, and here they all are, the pendant and the 2 earrings. And I'm just going to set and let these cool for a little bit, and then we'll sand them, both front and back. Okay, and now I'm going to sand them, and I am using my Pedi wand today, and I will have the link for that in the description below. For some reason they look purple to me. I hope they don't to you, but for some reason they are looking a little purple, which is weird because I used white and pearl. So I don't know why they have a purple hue to them, but they do to me. Anyways, I'm going to sand from 400 grit up to 10,000 grit on both sides. Okay, and here they all are. They have all been sanded on both sides. So now we're ready to add the tape to make some designs on it before we add the paint. Okay, so here I have my nail tape, and I'm just going to lay this across my pendant in different angles to make my design in it. And so it's not so boring, I'm going to speed this up. That's all I'm doing is laying the tape on there. Okay, and now I'm just going to work on the earrings, doing the same thing to the earrings. Just laying the tape, making my design, and I'm going to speed this up for you as well. Okay, and now we are ready to start painting. I'm just gonna open up my watercolors here, find me a brush, and we'll get started. Okay, so I'm just gonna dab on my first color here. I'm starting with red, and I'm just gonna tap it on there. Rinse off my brush, pick up another color, going with an orange. Just tap it on. Any old way. No way is wrong. Just tap it on there. Rinse off my brush. Grab me another color. I'm going to use the orangish brown. Zoom in a little bit for you there so you can better see what I'm doing. And then just tap it on there. Rinse off my brush. Grab me another color. I'm going to use a different color red. Just tap that in there. Kind of blend in the colors together. Rinse off my brush. I'm going to grab me some yellow. And I'm just going to tap that on there too and kind of blend it in. That looks good. Set that to the side and let that dry, and I will work on the earrings in the same way. And I will speed that up for you. Okay, and now I am just going to set these off to the side so that they can dry. And then I will work on the pendant. Okay, now I'm going to start taking the tape off here, but I highly recommend just go ahead and leave it on and then work on the back. Because I did get a little bit in my lines, I think, on the front on one section. So go ahead and leave that tape on there and then work on the back. Then work on the sides. But mostly I was just anxious to get the tape off of here so I could see what the pattern looked like. So I'll let you watch me take the tape off and see what comes about. I think it came out very cool. I'm very pleased. I love the pattern. I love the colors. They blended really nicely together and it really came out looking tie-dyed. Here I'm painting the edges, but again, I highly recommend to do this part last. Do your front, do your back, then do the edges. And as you can see here, as I'm painting along and I'm touching it, I am getting paint on the back of my pendant, which I really did not want to do. And now I'm ready to tape the back part of my earrings here, since they have fully dried. As you can see on the back, because of the way I let it slide around while I was painting the front, I got paint all over the back. And this did not clean up very well even with alcohol, so it's pretty set on there once you get it on there. Here I'm starting on the second earring, and you can see how the paint has set on there. I wiped it down with the alcohol and it's pretty stained, but it still ends up looking good in the end, and I will show you that. Okay, and here I am back to the pendant, and I'm going to put my tape on it and kind of tape it down, kind of like I did with the earrings. It just made it easier that way, so make it kind of work to your advantage that way. Okay, now the earrings are dry, so I'm going to start taking the tape off, and it's a little boring, so I'm going to fast forward through this for you, but so you can still watch the pattern emerge. Okay, and now I am painting the edges of it, and I have to tell you, this way does work out much better, so I highly recommend doing that part last. And just be really careful where you place your fingers. Okay, and here's what they both look like. They're all done except for I still have to paint the edges on the other one, and I will do that real quick. Okay, and here's how my pendant turned out. You can see here I had some bleed through. I must not have got my tape pressed down all the way, but it still looks good. Okay, and here's what they all look like together. I'm very pleased with the outcome. Now we'll finish it off. So now we have to resin our piece, and today I'm using Lisa Pavelka Magic Gloss. I love this stuff, as you know, and I am going to speed through this so it's not too boring. I just want to show you how I'm doing it. I'm going ahead and doing the whole pendant at once, or the earring, excuse me. I am doing the whole pendant all at once also, just see how it turns out. So we'll see what I get. Don't forget to go over your pieces with a torch or a lighter to get the air bubbles out. It don't take much, but make sure you do it. Okay, and here they are out of the UV light, and I have to say they turned out really nice, so I'm really happy with it. Now I'm going to put tiny Pandora's DeepShine on the backs. And I think I put my DeepShine on a little too thin, and I'll explain that more in a little bit, why I think that. Okay, now I'm just going to go over with my torch real quick to make sure I get rid of any air bubbles in it. I'm going to put it in the UV light. They curled up a bit, so I put them back under the UV light with a tile over top to see if it would straighten it out. It did a little bit, but not fully. They're still a little curved. So, and they look good being a little curved. I like the curve in it. Not what I was wanting, but I don't mind it. Unfortunately, on the big one, I had some cracking going on. So that's why I think I put it on too thin, because I got cracking from the resin. It's trial and error. Just have to work with it a little bit more and see what works and what don't. Okay, now I'm going to take my silicone brush and I'm going to dip it in the DeepShine, and I'm going to go around the edges, the inside edge and the outside edge. Because it's watercolor paints that are on here, you want to make sure that you seal everything in really good. And the silicone brush works really well on the sides to get it on there. And the great thing about DeepShine is it will stay where you put it. Okay, now it's time for the UV light, and we're back. And I am going to finish off the outside edge here, starting where I left off, and work my way up to the point. Okay, and that gets that. Into the UV light it goes. And we're back. And it turned out really nice. So now it's time to drill some holes. Okay, and what I'm doing here is I'm taking my Sharpie pen and I'm going to put little dots where I want to drill. And that way I know exactly where I want the holes to be and I won't mess it up. And if I don't place it right, I can always wipe it right off. No big deal. Just checking my placement, and I think it looks pretty good. So I'll grab my hand drill. I wanted to use my electric drill, my little Dremel, but it died. So I'm doing it by hand and hopefully not cracking the resin on the back. But when I turned it over, I realized that I cracked the resin. So I'm going to have to do some touch-up work. Okay, let's see here. Now it's time for my bottom hole because I want to put a crystal or something dangling from the center. So I'm doing 2 holes in the pendant. And I'm going to try to make that hole just a little bit more wider. Make sure my jump ring's going to go through it. Need it just a little bit bigger, but not too much. Okay, and I just happened to notice that I also chipped a little bit on the front somehow. So I'm going to have to do some touch-up work there also, and then I will put a little bit of DeepShine on that spot. And I think these are the crystals I'm going to use. I think they go with it very well. So, yeah, I think it'll be cute. Okay, and now I will go back in with my watercolor here and just touch up the spots that need fixed. Alright, and that should do it. So now I'm going to take and I'm going to put on some more DeepShine on the back to fill in these cracks, and hopefully it won't crack again on me. So I'm going to go a little bit thicker this time, and I'm going to use my silicone brush to see if I can get a better flow going on. Like I said, trial and error. We'll see what happens. Okay, put some resin on there, and you can see I've got a small dot going on. I'm going to first start on this spot where it came off, and then I'll just start filling in. A little really does go a long way, but like I said, I want it to be a little bit thicker than my first coat, so hopefully it will turn out really good. Okay, and here I'm going to go ahead and try another silicone brush to see if I get a better flow with it. And you can see it's actually shaped like a brush, white brush. But I didn't like the way it was working on it, so I go back to my pointed one. Okay, and I just want to make sure that I got it all covered nice and good, and I'm going to use my finger here to make sure that I get it all good and smoothed out, because of those cracks in there. I kind of want to make sure I get it down in there real good. So I'm going to use my finger and just smooth it out. Okay, and while that's in the UV light, I'm going to take my pen drill here once again, and I'm going to go through the earring, and on this one I'm only going to put one hole, because I'm afraid that I'll crack it, try to put two holes in it. So I just want to put one big one where two jump rings will fit through. And as you can see on the back, I also cracked the resin on it also. So I'm going to have to do touch-up work on the earring as well. And I will do it just like I did the pendant. Okay, that's out of the UV light now. It looks good. And now it's time to put on the jump rings and start assembling everything. So I've got my jump ring and I got my bail. And I'm just going to put those in for now. Okay, just checking to make sure that my jump ring is going to fit and look okay in there, because I'm using the oval shaped jump ring. My round ones were too thick to go through, so I'm using my thinner ones, which are my oval ones. So now I'll put the bail on. Just open it back up, pop it on, and then close it back up. Just checking to make sure it looks good. It looks cute. I like it. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is take some wire here, and I believe this is 22 gauge, I'm thinking. 22 or 24, I can't remember. But I'm going to make a head pin with my curlicue end, and I have a video on how to make those. It's just a tip video, so it's really short, quick and easy. But I'll show you here how to do it. So you just pinch your wire closed. If you can get it pinched all the way closed. I don't like to have any gap in it. I like it to be touching each other. Put it in my pliers here. Make sure I have it go in the right direction for me. Put my small wire up. Rub my round nose pliers. And just loop it a couple times. Okay, that's good. Now just cut that extra wire off. Like so. There's what it looks like. Very cute. Now I'll just pop my bead on there. And I was thinking I could just take the wire and put it through, dangling from the hole that I made. But I don't think it's going to work. I'd have to make the loop awful big, I think. So I'm just going to put in a jump ring and then dangle this off the jump ring that I put in. So I'll set that aside, and I will fight with my jump ring to get it in here in this lower hole. And let me tell you, it was a huge fight trying to get everything lined up, trying to get it in there and keep it where I needed it to be to close it. I had a really hard time with it, and I'm not going to take you through the whole process here. So just know that I fought it. You might have to fight it too if you do this. Yeah, it took a while. So I'm going to edit all that out. So here you can see I just about got it, but I am still fighting it. So yeah, don't be surprised if it's hard to get. I don't know why, maybe because it's curved, I don't know, but I had a hard time with it. But I'm getting there. I think that's about finally got it. Trying to make sure that I've got no gap in there, because I don't want my crystal falling off of there. Just checking everything, making sure it's all where I need it to be. And now I will add the crystal. I'll just open my loop that I made. Put that in there. It's close quarters with everything. You might have to fight it a little bit also. Looking for my round nose pliers here. Then I'm just going to wrap that around. The wire is pretty flexible, so I gotta keep straightening it out. Okay. I'll get my cutters here and cut that extra wire off. Checking to see how it looks. Checking to see how it's going to hang. I like it. Just making sure it's straight. And there we go. Okay, now it's time to drill my hole in my earring. And I'm only going to be drilling one hole. And I have my dot to show where to drill. And today I'll be using my drill master. I am going to start out with a small hole and work my way up to a larger hole. So I'll need to change my bit. That's got it. Now it's time to change the bit to a bigger one. Okay, and here I go in with the bigger drill. With the bigger bit, excuse me. There we go. That looks good. It's a lot nicer this way. I'm having a lot less cracking. Just gonna refine that hole. And I'll have to do some touch-up work here, but it's not too bad. And I will put some resin on that and cure it under the UV light. Okay, and here you see I have one earring done, and I'm going to show you how I did that one. Okay, and here's a better look at it up close. You can see what I've done here. I put both jump rings through the same hole, and I put my bead in there, and I'll show you how I did that with this one. Okay, so here I go with my jump ring. And I am again using the oval shapes because they're thinner gauge. So I'll put one in. Sorry, I'm out of frame. Close it up. Make sure it's closed. And then I will put the lower one in. And I've had to twist that one a little bit more. If you remember on the pendant, I was having trouble getting the inner one done. I also had trouble on the earring as well. So, yeah, the inner one's real bare to get. I just don't want to sit still. And after fighting it for a while, I finally get it, or at least close to it. He's trying to show you how I got it, and I go out of frame. There we go. Finally. Okay, now I'm putting my ear wire on. I've got me a round jump ring here to put that on, 4mm, and then I put the crystal on, just like I did on the pendant. I did them the same way. So here's how they came out. I think they're very pretty. I'm keeping this set for myself. Okay, now we'll put the necklace together. And I'm going to be using rat tail today. I'll string the pendant onto the rat tail. Just checking to see how it hangs. Okay, and I've got my E6000 out. That's what I'm going to be using to glue it on there. And I sped this up because I'm sure you've seen me do this many times. I just spread the glue on the end of the cord. And I kind of threaded it in there. Kind of twist and turn it to get it to go up in there. Sometimes it fights me. There we go. Get it to where it pops up there a little bit and then pull it back down. Grab the other one. Let's trim a little bit off so it's not as hard to get up in there. Grab me some more glue. Get that glue on the end of that cord. Grab the other one and twist it up in there. Which is still fighting me. Push it up and pull it back down a bit. Okay, now we'll put on the jump rings and the clasp and we'll be done. So here I've got an 8mm jump ring. I'll put that on and close it up. Now my 4mm jump ring, and I will put my claw clasp on that. Put that on my crimp end and close it up. all done. Beautiful. I love how it came out, I really do. I'm very pleased with this one. And then the earrings to go with it. Beautiful. Okay, and that is it for this tutorial. If this tutorial was helpful to you in any way, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I also have a Facebook group, Trisha's Lovely Creations, and I hope to see you there. Thanks. Have a great day.